I woke up to something that made my stomach knot immediately. At first, I thought I'd imagined it, but when my eyes adjusted to the morning light, I saw the chair. A wooden dining chair, old and scratched, was sitting directly outside my bedroom door, angled slightly as if someone had placed it there to block me from leaving. I live alone, and I have no memory of moving it. I have no roommates, no one with a key. The rest of the apartment was undisturbed, nothing else out of place, nothing missing, nothing broken. My first thought was sleepwalking, but I've never done that, never even close. I approached the chair slowly, heart racing, and circled it to see if anything else had been placed nearby. Nothing. Just the chair. I tried to convince myself it must have been me in some foggy half-sleep state, but the scratches on the floor where the chair legs pressed into the hardwood weren't familiar. I inspected the hallway for signs of anyone else. No footprints, no scuff marks, no indication that someone had been inside. The windows were locked, the door was still latched, and my phone and keys were exactly where I'd left them the night before. I moved the chair aside and tried to shake off the feeling that I was being watched, but it didn't go away. That evening, I double-checked all the locks, closed the blinds, and went to bed hyper-aware of every creak and groan of the apartment settling. I told myself it was overreaction. The next morning, though, the chair was back. Same spot, same angle, perfectly placed as if someone had thought about how to position it just to be noticed. I examined the floor and walls carefully, but still no signs of entry. No footprints, no disturbed dust, no indication of anyone crawling along the hallway or squeezing through a window. I began sleeping with a bat next to my bed, mentally scanning every sound outside my door, but the apartment stayed silent. Still, every night the only thing I could hear were my own breaths and the faint hum of the heater. Over the next week, the chair kept appearing in the same way every morning. Sometimes I left it where it was, sometimes I moved it back into the dining room, thinking that maybe if I didn't acknowledge it, whatever was doing this would stop, but each morning I would wake to find it exactly outside my door, angled slightly differently each time, like a deliberate gesture, like someone had studied how I would enter the hallway and adjusted its position to be noticed. I started leaving small cameras in the hallway, hoping to catch a glimpse of whoever, or whatever, was moving it. The recordings never showed anything. No shadow, no movement, no sound other than the faint hum of the refrigerator and heater. And yet, every morning, the chair appeared, perfectly positioned, the floor around it untouched, no sign of dragging or disturbance, as if it had materialized in place. I began avoiding walking past it in the mornings, stepping over it with a racing heart, imagining someone crouched just out of sight, watching me move through the hallway. I even started leaving the door cracked at night, but the chair still appeared outside, never inside the room, always waiting, patient, precise. Last night I didn't sleep at all. I stayed awake staring at the hallway, watching the shadows cast by the streetlight outside. I felt like something was lingering just beyond the reach of the lamplight, like it had been studying me for weeks, silently, with an understanding of my habits, my routines. When dawn finally broke, I stepped toward the hallway and froze. There it was, again. The chair. Angled perfectly, legs pressing lightly into the hardwood, as if whatever placed it had leaned on it, considered it, then stepped back. I don't know how it's happening. I don't know if it's someone entering the apartment or something else entirely. All I know is that every morning, without fail, that chair is there, waiting just outside my bedroom door, a silent, precise presence, and the thought of sleeping through the night with it watching, whether I see it or not, makes me question whether I'm ever truly alone in my own home. I work as the night janitor for an office building downtown, mostly empty after 6 p.m., the lights dimmed, elevators quiet, the occasional hum of an air conditioner my only company. At first, it was small things, pens left on the floor near the conference rooms, a crumpled paper that looked like it had fallen from a desk, but I assumed someone had forgotten them during the day. Then it escalated. One night I was pushing the mop down a long hallway when I spotted a pair of keys sitting on the edge of the reception desk, not mine, not labeled, just resting there like someone had put them down and walked away. The building had been empty for hours. I had locked the doors before starting my rounds. I picked them up, checked the security cameras, and saw nothing unusual, no one entering, no one moving in the hallways. A week later, I found a jacket draped over a chair in the break room. It was the right size for a man, old, worn, not something I recognized from any cleaning crew or maintenance staff. I checked the offices, the doors were all locked, and I was the only one supposed to be here. That night I started keeping notes of the items I found. Pens, a scarf, a single shoe near the mailroom, even a backpack leaning against the wall in the stairwell. Everything seemed left for me to find, and it always appeared in places I had just passed through on my rounds, never there the night before. I began checking the cameras more carefully, focusing on the hallways where the items appeared, but the footage never showed anyone. Nothing moved except for the lights dimming automatically according to schedule, and the occasional flicker from the old wiring. Sometimes I'd hear a soft shuffle, almost like someone walking just out of frame, but when I would turn toward the sound, there was nothing. The worst night was a Tuesday. I was emptying trash in the 12th floor kitchenette when I noticed a small stack of photos on the counter. They were personal snapshots of people I didn't know, office events I had never attended, but they were all clearly taken inside this building. I felt my stomach drop. I walked through the hallways, checking each office and conference room. Every door locked, every chair pushed in, every desk empty. I checked the cameras again. No movement. But somehow, someone had been here, leaving these things in plain sight, in places I would notice. After that, I started walking with a flashlight in every room, shining under desks, into corners, around the stairwells. I found nothing but more items appearing later, a pair of gloves on a windowsill, a notebook in the supply closet, a water bottle half full on a conference table. Always things that looked personal, private, as if whoever left them wanted me to see them but never wanted to be seen. I began bringing my own phone to record the hallways as I worked, hoping to catch someone in the act, but nothing ever appeared in the footage. No one entered, no one left, yet each morning when I came in after my shift, I found new items I hadn't placed. Sometimes I swear I feel the building breathing around me at night, the lights flickering when I pass, a shadow moving just at the edge of my vision, and every so often I hear a soft thump, like a footstep behind me, but when I spin around, the hallway is empty. I've started double-checking doors before I leave, locking the ones that aren't automated, but I know it won't stop whoever, or whatever, is leaving these things. They don't need doors. They appear only when I'm alone, waiting until the building empties, leaving reminders that I am not truly alone at all. Now I go through each floor methodically, scanning for items, trying not to panic when something new appears in a place I just passed, trying not to imagine a person crouched in the shadows somewhere watching me work, patient, careful, silent, knowing exactly when and where to leave the next thing, and the thought that someone could be in the building without ever appearing on camera, without ever showing themselves, is slowly making me dread the nights I used to find peaceful, knowing that tomorrow, when I start my rounds, there will be more items waiting, and I will not be able to explain them, and I will be utterly alone. It started with one note slipped under my front door. I was coming home from work late, tired, carrying groceries, when I noticed a folded piece of paper resting on the welcome mat. I picked it up and unfolded it. In neat, small handwriting it said, "Lock the windows tonight." My first thought was prank mail from a neighbor or someone trying to freak me out. I laughed nervously, checked the windows, and made sure they were locked before going to bed, dismissing it as a one-off joke. The next day I found another note, this time tucked between the pages of my mail, the same handwriting, same warning, "Lock the windows tonight." My heart sank. I live alone, and nothing had been stolen or broken into, so I had no reason to think someone had been in the house, but the handwriting felt deliberate, calculated, almost personal. I showed it to my friend over the phone, trying to sound casual, and she told me to throw it away and not worry. I tried to, but the next night, there was another note, this one pinned to the inside of the front door with a tiny piece of tape. "Lock the windows tonight." No signature, no indication of who had left it, just that same terse, insistent message. I began double-checking every lock in the house, going through room by room, window by window, even the ones I never use. Everything was fine. The locks worked. There was no sign anyone had entered. But each night, the notes kept coming. They appeared in different places, on the bathroom counter, inside the fridge, folded into a shoe. Whoever was leaving them knew my house intimately enough to choose locations I would notice. I considered calling the police, but what would I tell them? That someone was leaving anonymous notes with warnings? They would probably laugh it off. I even set up a small camera near the front door, but for 2 nights straight the camera recorded nothing, no movement outside, no one walking up to the door, nothing. Yet the next morning, a note was there again, folded carefully, exactly where it would be seen. I began sleeping with my phone by the bed, ready to call someone if there was a sound in the night, but I heard nothing. Just the knowledge that the notes would appear again, like someone was watching me from a distance, anticipating every night, waiting for me to ignore their instructions. I started checking the locks twice, 3 times, even barricading some windows I never touch. The notes didn't stop. They escalated subtly. One read, "Don't leave a window unlocked," another, "Close all blinds first." They were becoming more specific, more intimate, as if the person leaving them had been inside, observing how I lived, how I slept, what I overlooked. A week ago, I came home after work to find one folded under my pillow. I hadn't touched my bed since leaving in the morning. The handwriting was identical, the words simple, chilling, "Lock the windows tonight." I checked the locks obsessively that night, sleeping fitfully, jumping at every creak. This morning, when I walked into the kitchen, there was another note taped to the refrigerator door, same handwriting, same warning. I haven't left the house at night since. I double-check every window and door, but the notes keep appearing, and I can't figure out how or when they're being delivered. I feel watched. Every shadow feels heavier. Every noise makes my stomach tighten. I can't tell if this is someone's cruel game or if it's a warning about something I don't yet understand. But every night, I lock the windows, and every morning, a note waits for me, a quiet reminder that someone knows exactly what I do when I'm alone, and that they are patient enough to keep sending these messages until the moment they decide I've ignored them long enough.